back to the AfriCanadian Resource Center. Today, Monday, October 5th, we're bringing you a couple of different communities. We're bringing you the interview that we did with Mr. Camille, who's from the Ivory Coast community. He owns a restaurant on Danforth East, and we were able to talk to him about different things, including how he's dealing with the COVID-19. So that interview is coming up right now, in a minute. And later on, we're also going to have a conversation with a gentleman from the Eritrean community, where we're going to talk about the work that he's been doing in the community, helping young people with exercise, mental health, and all the work that many people have been needing during this time of COVID. So we really appreciate you joining us once again. This is, I believe, the third week that we're beginning today. And so we hope to bring you more of these stories every day, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. And so we hope to have you throughout this program. And of course, remember to share. Let everybody know that we are here on the Facebook and Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you want to find us. We have many different programs. We have a podcast that's coming up in a few days. We have a comic that is also up to, that's almost done right now. And we are also working on bringing you blogs in many different languages. So when we bring you a community, we also intend to bring you different blogs that accompany that in their language. And so we hope to bring all of that to you in the near future. In the meantime, I'll see you in a minute.
Are you ready? Put it in a camera. We want peace in Liberia, peace in Moravia. We want peace in Liberia, peace in Moravia. Say Babylon shall not rise again. Say Babylon shall not rise again. And Babylon shall not stand again. Say Babylon shall not stand again. Cause every day they're talking about the Liberian civil war. And everywhere over Galen, muddy rivers of blood. Oh Lord, no matter who wins, Liberia is crying. No matter who Liberia still crying. No matter who's right, they got to stop the fight. No matter who's wrong, the devil's still strong. We want peace in Côte d'Ivoire, peace in Congo. We want peace in Boaké, peace in Tokwe. Say Babylon shall not rise again. And Babylon shall not rise again. Say Babylon shall not stand again. Say Babylon shall not stand again. Calling on Jesus Christ, said I and I. Calling on Jesus Christ, said I and I. Calling on Allah, said I and I. Calling Adonai, said I and I. Cry la Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire, you got to cry, cry la Côte d'Ivoire.
Yes, good evening and welcome back to the AfriCanadian Resource Center. Of course, you've been listening to Alpha Brondi, and the reason why we brought you Alpha Brondi tonight is because today we are focusing on the Ivory Coast community. We'll be bringing you an interview we did with Camille, who is an owner of a restaurant at Danforth East, where we were there last week. And so that's why we sort of thought we'd bring you a little bit of a trip down memory lane with Alpha Brondi. And of course, we hope you enjoy that. In meantime, as we do every evening, we are going to let you know what's going on as far as COVID is concerned, what's going on in Canada, what's going on in Ontario, and how everybody is dealing with it, especially the officials. Today, Ontario has reported a record high number of new cases, with about 323 out of the total 732 in the city of Toronto, almost six-fold increase, which is, of course, in Toronto, a lot of people are really worried. Even here at the center, at the RCHC, one of the things we're sort of trying to figure out is how do we cope with this? Do we go on the field as we have always promised? Like, in what way do we function? This is something that really we are dealing with, and we want to figure out how to do going forward. So it's really becoming a challenge for all of us here in the city. But of course, business must continue until we are told otherwise. Also, we learned today that Toronto Public Health said that over the weekend that it would temporarily suspend COVID-19 contacts tracing outside of the outbreaks in congregates, setting like long-term care homes, because of they are saying that it is overwhelmed by the surge of the new cases in the city. Ontario also recently announced it will end testing for asymptomatic people at its 153 COVID-19 assessment centers. Instead, now they are moving to an appointment-only model for those with symptoms of the disease. Obviously, this is all the measures that are becoming more and more worrying for many of us, because the measures are, so if you look at it, it's more about making sure that we can protect those who are in need the most. But also, if you're looking at the overwhelming level, it's really scary for many people. So that's why we continue to remind people, try your best to wash your hands, protect yourself, to make sure that you protect the people around you, because this thing is not going away anytime soon. Another thing is the number of patients in Ontario. In Ontario, hospitals with confirmed infections also continued its steady upward climb, and they're saying that today it's up to 176, 7 more than yesterday. Lastly, Ontario's top health officials' recommendations include calling on the public to leave their homes only for the essential trips, including work, education, healthcare appointments, and exercise, with up to 2 people from outside of the household allowed to provide social support for those living alone. So again, you can see we are going back to how things were when COVID-19 was just striking. And all these are measures to allow for people to obviously to see if we can to put this disease at halt, and hopefully we can get there soon. Anyways, so that's the news for Toronto today. And what we're going to do when we come back, we're going to go for a quick commercial. When we come back, we are going to speak to a young man from the Eritrean community, see what he's been doing in the community, see the work that he's been doing, and also learn more about what, from his angle, what does he think we need to do to continue, obviously, to do the work in the community, and whether he has any advice on how we can fight this disease. We will also be asking him about that. But in the meantime, let's go for a commercial.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Welcome back, and as I said on the other side of the commercial, we're about to be joined by a young man who is going to tell us more about the work that he's doing from the Eritrean community. And without further ado, Simon, how are you?
I'm doing great, great. How you doing?
Good, good, man. Thank you so much for joining us on a short notice.
No, no problem, no problem.
Okay, first of all, tell us who are you and what are you doing in the community?
So my name is Simon. I work with a nonprofit organization named New NACFA. We reside in Toronto. I personally live in Brampton, though. I'm a human resource manager for the group, and what our main goal is to bring the Eritrean community together and to help empower the youth in Toronto.
Amazing. I was just at the Danforth last week, and even throughout the city where we've been looking at different works that is by African Canadians, one of the things I've noticed, man, is that the Eritrean community has a presence in Toronto. How do you feel like, how did you manage, or how do you think you've managed to do that? Because everywhere we go, it's either Eritrean, Ethiopian, and everyone, the rest of us are sort of trying to catch up. How did you guys manage to do that?
Yeah, fortunately, we've had like a lot of people come from our country. There was a certain time where there was just a huge amount of people just coming over, especially from places like Italy or also straight directly from uh, Eritrea itself. But also, we kind of look at Canada as like, especially in Toronto, as like it's because it's more multicultural. That's why I believe Eritreans mostly want to reside here.
Okay, that's really good, and I love that many of you, including also the Ethiopian community, I would say even to an extension the Somalian community, you guys don't play
Mhm.
around. You come here, you open stores, you have organizations, obviously New Nakafa, which the RCHC have been
Yeah.
working with. You don't play around.
No, most definitely. It's in our blood. You know, this kind of mentality that, we can also create. We don't have to get any handouts from anybody. At the end of the day, it's all about working together because when we work together, we're able to come with many different ideas and many different skills that we may not have as individuals, but as one, we're almost unstoppable. So as I work with different members in UNACFA, I actually gain more skills. I actually gain more experiences, connections to different places, organizations, or jobs where I wouldn't have got it if I hadn't reached out to this organization. So at the end of the day, this new NACFA group, we're looking at also for the long run. We're also looking to continue. We're not just looking at our generation, but generations to come. So that's why we wanted to make sure people understand that this organization doesn't take much, but people to come together and to work as one as a team.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I'm learning as well. I'm very new in the non-for-profit and community organizing world, but one of the things that I've really learned is the cooperation. I think the cooperation goes a long way, and working with the new NACFR and one of your member, Jonathan, I've really learned
Yeah.
to sort of, I can see how you operate, and that's really something I'm also looking towards in terms of like how to really work with community members and getting work done.
Yeah.
But
Well, fortunately, Jonathan's actually a person who I actually spent a little bit of my childhood with. We also played soccer in the Eritrean community because soccer is obviously a sport that us East Africans love to play. So we parted ways during high school, but as soon as he came up with the organization UNACBA, I was like so excited to join it. So what I heard was when I heard about its purpose, I understood that it wasn't just about us, but it's also for the future. So Jonathan has definitely played a big role in the success of UNACBA.
absolutely, and we were talking earlier. One of the things that you've been doing for the organization was creating programs like health and fitness. Tell us more about that. What have you done during this time, during COVID, to help some of the members of the community?
Yeah, so for the fitness part, I started this program called Each One Teach One. It's a program I hold every Sunday, and I basically have Airtrain youths come participate in physical activity, as well as we play sports like soccer, for instance. So the main point of this program is to make sure that the kids are staying fit, but also to understand why it is important to stay fit, especially at a young age. I believe when we're exposed to different types of foods, especially fast food, now we have Uber Eats where people could bring fast food to your home. So I think I just wanted to make sure that they understand that while it's important to have fun and enjoy these nice foods, also to understand that what you put in your body should be pure, right? My ancestors in Eritrea, we didn't eat some of the stuff that we have today, like McDonald's and stuff like that. And the reason why I say that is because they live longer. If you look back home, a lot of people are more healthier. So I just try to take after that type of lifestyle. As far as
Absolutely.
health, we also have started well, we just finished actually the new NACFA health package program. We were able to hand out 480 health packages to various different areas in Toronto, whether it was downtown, the West End, East End, and we're also able to deliver to people who weren't able to um, reach to the certain destination where we're handing them out. So in these health packages, we have different types of gloves, we have masks, we also have hand sanitizer, we have body lotion, and most importantly, we have a brochure that explains some of the healthy, the safeties, things like the rules and different types of precautions we should take during this crisis we're in, the pandemic.
Okay. And my question to you, and this is more for other members of the community who might think, oh, wait, how are you giving packages? Where are you getting the money? You know, people might want to help, might want to be involved. How did the organization acquire the funds or the capacity to do this, if you don't mind sharing?
Um, to be honest, I didn't really handle that part of the organization, but it was but what I believe is through the Red Cross. Basically, from my understanding, we show them what we're doing. We show them that we're a nonprofit organization, and that the purpose of what we're doing is for the better good of the community, people who can't afford these certain products. And so basically, we receive the funds for them, and then we were able to buy the products, the gloves, the mask, and all the essentials, and we put them all together ourselves into packages.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the program we're talking about is the Red Cross, but also the funds came directly from the government as a part of the $350 million dollars that was sent out to black communities for COVID response. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, I think that's the funding that you're talking about.
Yes, that was actually part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Another thing I would like to ask you that I like to ask a lot of young people is what got you to thinking, you know what, I know through my conversation with Jonathan, you say you go to school, you're studying at York University, right?
Yes.
And so, as somebody who is doing full-time education, what got you to take this time and say, you know what, I want to also help my community? What is that one thing that you can probably tell other young people like you? Because I think a lot of young people are interested in these kinds of work, but they really want to work with
Mhm.
organizations that they really believe, you know what, this is doing something that can make a difference. What did you see in New NACFA, but also what got you to wake up, to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to provide this voluntary service to the community?
Yeah, well, when I grew up, I didn't really have certain people around like this age group, around the 20-year-old age group from like 30, to kind of show me different ways of helping my community. I believe that in today's generation, the youth are more exposed to different type of things. Unfortunately, crime has risen in the city of Toronto, and we're also finding a lot of victims to be also Eritreans, unfortunately. So I just wanted to show these youth that you could put time into something productive. You could better yourself in different types of ways. It's not always the flashy cars, the flashing clothing you have to chase after. Sometimes it could be chasing your dream, and if that requires you to work overnights, 9 to 5s, or even just come out and help a nonprofit organization to increase your knowledge, you got to do what it takes, right? Now, as far as me sacrificing my time, especially being in school, I believe that I never really looked at it as a sacrifice. I looked at it as a more of something I really want to do. Because if you really want to do something, it will come from the heart. And basically, the stuff that I do for my community is all from the heart. It's nothing, I don't look for anything in return. Like we said, we're a nonprofit organization. I just want to see these kids grow mentally and also physically through my health and fitness program. And I just want to see how the future progresses. I hope to see these kids do what I'm doing when they're my age.
Amazing. Lastly, maybe not lastly, but I'm interested in knowing what is the plan going forward for you, whether it's through New NACAFA or just you providing these services overall. Because of COVID, or of course because of winter, I'm thinking some of your programs like soccer programs would change because obviously we can't play soccer outside. What are the steps going forward for you, knowing where we are with COVID? Is there any plans in the future, in the near future, to continue the program that you're providing?
Yeah, well, my friend Jonathan, he's looking to host these Zoom live chats. We have a WhatsApp chat, and we also have it consists of many people who were either previously associated with the new NACFA or even people who we ran into. So basically, he's looking to hold these financial Zoom meetings where because he's if I'm not mistaken, he's into real estate. So one thing, whether it's stock trading or whether it's investing in property, he just wants to look to educate people as far as the different ways of becoming financially rich. And as far as what we're also doing is having Zoom live chats with different high school students who are entering either grade 11 or grade 12 and kind of trying to get a good idea of what they're feeling like for university or college, and to kind of give them our previous experience or our current experience with post-secondary school and look to ways to help them basically.
That's amazing, man. I'm going to ask you, my last question is more maybe on you as an individual. You're studying at York University. Can you tell us more about what you're studying and what do you plan to do? This is a question that I haven't been asking, but I mean to ask all my guests, which is what is your vision for the future as far as if you look at 20, 50 years from now? What impact did you want to have on the world?
Well, the program I'm in right now is environmental studies at York. It's a degree program. What I'm looking to actually do is I'm looking to get into eco landscape. This is more focused on the designs of certain buildings in certain areas, recreational areas, and to basically make like different parts of the city, like for instance Toronto, to make it more green. I noticed that in certain areas, especially in low-income housing areas, there tend to be a lack of respect for the environment. You can often see different high pollution in those areas. You can see different plants or other things that are very toxic environment basically. So what I'm looking to do is to make sure that people are living in clean environments and safe environments, most importantly.
Amazing, man. And I hope to see that soon, of course, because as we live through these days, obviously we're being told that the environment is, it's, you know, I think we've been given, some people say 7 years, 10 years to do something. Otherwise, the consequences would be, you know, something we might not know how to respond from, to come back from. So hopefully you can make that impact sooner than later. And in the meantime, we really hope to continue connecting with you. And see, I really would like to learn more about you because we are just connected today. And one of the things we like to do here with the AfriCanadian Resource Center is to make sure we have all these individuals in the community and have all of these resources for people who might need your service or the people that you might connect with. So we really hope to connect with you and to continue this collaboration going forward.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Have a good
A coronavirus is a type of virus that can infect the respiratory tract, meaning the nose, mouth, throat, sinuses, or lungs. There are many types of coronaviruses, and most cause only mild illness, such as the common cold. But some coronaviruses can cause severe illness. The most likely way people can become infected is by droplets that contain the virus. These droplets carry the virus into the air and can enter through the nose, mouth, throat, and lungs of a person who is within 6 feet or 2 meters. The virus infects the lungs, causing the lungs to become inflamed. The alveolar sacs have to be healthy for the body to breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Infection of the virus causes damage to the cells of the lungs and triggers an inflammatory reaction. Fever may develop. With severe inflammation, inflammatory fluid fills the lungs. This reduces the function of the alveoli, resulting in coughing and difficulty breathing. The oxygen level in the blood may decrease. In some people who become severely ill, other organs may be affected, such as the kidneys or the heart.
We thank Simon for joining us. As I said, the Eritrean community is doing big things in Toronto. And as an African from East Africa community, I'm really proud. I'm proud. But also I'm looking at these communities like the Eritrean, the Somalian, the Ethiopian community, and I'm like, what are we doing? Can we catch up? And I think we can. Obviously, we've all gotten into Canada in different times. And I think that's also a benefit for some of these communities. But really, if you look at what they're doing, if you go to Danforth, if you go to, I believe on Bro West Street, man, almost every next building you see belongs to an East African. So that's beautiful. You know, really appreciate seeing that, and hopefully we can join in. I want to see a building from the Rwandan community, you know, and our center is coming, maybe in a couple of years, but our center is coming to the RCHC. But we want to see more of our people joining the East African community and the rest of African Canadian community in creating a more diverse and more multicultural, but also competitive communities across Canada. So obviously we told you that we're going to have an interview with Camille of Plato. Many of my fellow Rwandans, many of my fellow East Africans and Africans know this restaurant, which is on Danforth Street. We were there last week. And so we just wanted to talk to him, learn more about him, obviously how he started and how he's dealing with COVID. And so the interview we have for you right now is about that and more about him and his organization. So here you go. All right. Rap Plateau, you know, that's a West African restaurant. We're about to go check out Mr. Tammy. He's the owner of the restaurant here, and we want to talk to him about obviously the restaurant, the business, how he's doing during COVID, and also learn more about the customers, the people that he serves. Because one of the things, you know, when you work in the restaurants, you get to meet so many people, and we feel like this is a great resource in terms of actually understanding how the community is doing. How is the community feeling during this time of COVID? All right, so let's go check it out. So we're here with Camille, and we wanted to bring you more of the African Canadian organizations. And today we're visiting a business here on Danforth. Camille, tell us about yourself. What's your name and what you do here?
Oh, my name is Camille Ngassoue. Thank you for coming to Le Plateau.
Sure.
Yeah, and we're on Danforth 785, Danforth Avenue in Toronto.
Yeah. So, like, obviously you have a restaurant, you have a bar. What are the other activities that you run?
We
here?
do catering too.
Okay.
Wedding.
Okay.
You know, we've done a few weddings where we've been cooking for 300 people from here and then delivering to the place. And
right.
so everyone can order food from Le Plateau.
Okay.
And we deliver.
That's good. What are other platforms that you would say that maybe people should know that you are associated with?
Yeah, I mean, AfroConnect is the main brand, and we got the restaurant. AfroConnect is to bring all the African, like the name is saying, you know, together.
Yeah. Okay.
So we don't only cook food and, you know, but we also make sure that African meet each other.
Okay.
And then we exchange and, you know, and that's why we had the idea of having parties and things like that.
Okay.
Because the place is small for having 300 and 400 people. So we hire places and I have I mean, there's a hall on Broadview where we do every year. Because of COVID, we can't. Everything's been cancelled. But we've been doing that for twice already. Okay. You know, so every year we invite all the Africans there, and we get minimum 300 people at once. So it's
do you ever like because this is one of the things I always ask people, like, what is maybe for the AfroConnect, but also for your business here? what is your like big vision for you, but also for your community? Like, do you think maybe we need like instead of like maybe renting those spaces, we could build our own? Like, what is the goal for you?
The first goal for us, it would be to have franchise, like different plateau all over the place. Hopefully.
You will get there, trust me. If you are goal, I ask these questions because I believe if you have a vision and you're working hard, the rest is just a matter of the connections and the network.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah,
thank you.
So that's good. So now I would like to know, obviously, you mentioned COVID a couple of times. We are in COVID, so we understand the challenges. How has that affected you as an organization?
It's bad. It's hard for us. With COVID, we have to only focus on food. And knowing that Le Plateau's got a bar, we've been affected with that. And as you know as well, the new, when the new phase now, the regulation, they want us to sell alcohol up to 11 p.m. and that's when my customers start coming. So now that's a loss for me.
My other question is, what do you think other businesses like yours in the not just in the African community, but I guess I'm biased because I'm more focused on the African community, but what do you think is their advice for other organizations and businesses like yours to survive these and see the other side of COVID?
I think there's one way for all of us, you know. I mean, COVID came, no one planned it, it just happened. So you have to cope with it. You have to adapt and quick. You know, it's not time to cry or this is what we do. You know what I mean? If I close Le Plateau today, I have to go and look for a 9-to-5, a job again.
And you don't want to do that.
Which is a no-no.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to adapt. We have to work hard and trying to fit in because everyone is doing it. You know, don't sit down and start complaining and blaming. Adapt.
People of Africa, like people that basically our communities that are mostly new or first generation, what is your advice on coming in here and really looking to start something as opposed to 9 to 5? Because that's another thing we are really, like for me as an individual, I really push that message because I feel like 9 to 5 is good, but what we also need to create is generational wealth, and you can't do that through 9 to 5. So what do we need to do to get
That's
to that?
That's a very good question, because on the top of the food we do here, for people who know Le Plateau, I used to have some meeting here, like some Ivorian can have their meeting, the Burundis can meet here, and also those entrepreneurs can come and have their open day here. I do everything in Le Plateau, and then sharing my customers with them, like you guys, you can decide to come and explain what you do to the community, and I can tell you when I'm kind of busy, you come and I'll give you this spot and you can express yourself. My customers are friendly, and you know, when people come to Le Plateau, it's not only for food. It's exactly what you mentioned. Because when you come and you're new in Toronto, and I know you're from Burundi or Rwanda, and I know one of my customers is from Burundi, what I do, I will come straight to you and say, look, after your food, you see that guy sitting there, he's from your country. Go and talk to him. You see, I link people up. Le Plateau, we're not only about food, it's for everyone. We want Africa to be one, you know, so that's to be connected.
And to support each other, because I think when you are here in Canada, we really want to create something, but it's easier to do that with the support like the one you're providing.
Because when people come here, they don't come only for the food, they come to meet people, they come to know what's going on in the community, and I'm here for that.
For the ones that are looking to do business,
based
on your experience, based on the challenges that you went through, what do you feel like they should do to succeed in their own ventures in Canada? What's the secret to at least maintain?
To be honest, I won't sound like what you read in books and all that, you know, because there's a lot of, sorry for the word, that for me it didn't apply. Do not do something that you don't feel like, and don't be driven by money. That's the key. The two things I just said, that's the key. Once you portray yourself in everything you do, you can only succeed. God will help you. I'm not driven by money. Everyone need money, but I love people first. I like to help. When I go home every night with my wife and we sit down, we said, wow, give me 5, we did it. Well. because we helped this person, we helped that person, and everyone went without, I mean, with some smile. This is it.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, any business, if you don't put your heart and you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Le Plateau give me, you know, what I'm looking for.
Yeah, incredible.
Meeting people, exchange every day, learning every day.
Yeah.
We learn until we die.
This is one of our mission. We really want to help African organizations to have that support. And so, and of course, if we can support your organization, you're helping us now, you're supporting us by giving us your story. We appreciate that. And you know, that's
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, that's the whole reciprocity. We need to do that as other communities have done. So, really appreciate your time, man.
Likewise.
Yeah, and we look forward to tasting the food in the future.
Oh,
in,
yeah.
In the meantime, all the best.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you so much.
Because of COVID, we go like.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There are several practical measures you can take to protect yourself from the new coronavirus. One of the most important is regular, safe, and effective hand hygiene, using soap and water or alcohol-based hand rub. Here are the steps recommended by WHO to follow. You too can have safe and clean hands anywhere. Now I'm calling on the world to take the WHO Safe Hands Challenge to be ready for coronavirus.
We thank Camille for having allowed us to go into his restaurant and talk to him about his work, of course. And really, one of the things that we are enjoying, besides the fact that we are now dealing with COVID and we might not be able to do it as much as we hope to, is being able to go into people's homes, into people's restaurants, into people's workplace, and get to have that conversation one-on-one. Because I think you're able to see what's available. And then, of course, like you see, when I ask what do you think we need, or looking forward, what are the things that we should do better? That's a part of this journey. That's a part of what we're doing with the AfriCanadian Resource Center, is trying to, one, see what's available, see what's needed in terms of what are the issues and challenges, but also what are the solutions that can be applied. That's really the key point for us, whether it's this platform or the organization, is to always find the answers to the challenges that exist in the community. So we thank Camille, and we thank so many others, including Simon, who joined us earlier, for allowing us to come into your space and giving us the information. And of course, down the road, we can also have access to the resources. So others in the African Canadian community can also have and work with the resources that you have. And I think that's the idea of having what I talked about, reciprocity, working together, as Simon said, giving us that level of teamwork, unity, because that's, to me, and I think to many of us, what it's going to require for the African community to catch up to the rest of the world, especially here in Canada. So we thank you for having given us those opportunities. I also would like to point out something. We keep playing the same commercials most of the time in the evening. We do that because obviously most of those commercials are the official commercials, one from the government of Canada. You just saw the other one from the World Health Organization. And we want to keep providing those information from officials, so you kind of have that understanding of what it requires to fight this disease. Of course, the hands washing, making sure that you keep the distance and staying safe at all costs, making sure that you protect the people with you and the people you find or you leave at home. So that's why we play those commercials. It's not because there's no other commercials that we can bring you. It's just because we feel like you need to always see these commercials and remember that this is not just you, but it is everybody that you come across. What I wanted to leave you with tonight, this evening, is some news that some of you might know, but I wanted to make sure that we cover it for those who might not have followed. We do sometimes cover politics. We try to talk about different things that are important to the Canadian society, and this is more on the political side, where the Green Party members have picked Toronto's lawyer, Anne Paul, as their next leader, bringing the closure to the year-long race to replace Elizabeth May. As you know, Elizabeth May has been the leader of the Green Party for the last 14 years. And Paul, who is the first black permanent parliament leader of a major federal political party in Canada, assumes the leadership as the party that has been closely tied to Elizabeth May. So we really hope, we look forward to seeing what Anne is going to do. Of course, being the first black African Canadian leader of a major party in Canada, this is a big achievement for black people in Canada. And we are cheering for you, Anne Paul. We hope to see these changes, especially on the climate change, go into effect. And we know that Elizabeth May has done a lot, has been influential for the last 14 years. So we hope and we wish you all the courage and strength you need to continue that journey. And hopefully you can build that party and get more members. But again, this is a huge achievement for the black society here in Canada. And we hope to see the same changes with other parties as well, whether it's the Conservative, the Liberals, the NDPs, of course. Really, we just want to see more of our people on those tables where decisions are made. So that way, especially if you look at what the Liberals, the Liberal government has done, we can actually not only just be on those tables, but we can also get resources within the African and black communities that allows us to develop and build systems by us, for us, as opposed to always waiting for the government or someone else to create a program for us to go and access. We can actually have our young people create these kinds of programs because we understand what's taking place in the community. We know what is required. We just need to have the resource and capacity to do so. So we really are cheering for all of our young leaders who are taking on the civic duty of leading, like Anne Paul has done. Amazing. So for tonight, that's pretty much what we had planned for you. What I would like to leave you with is to remind you that we're here every day from 6 to 7 p.m. We are covering African Canadian communities across, and we are trying to understand how are the communities doing, whether it's businesses, organizations, leaders, experts, whomever that is doing the work during COVID. If you are interested, if you want to be on our platform, all you have to do is send us a message, whether it's on the social media platforms, or simply send us an email. You can send me particularly an email at kizito@rchc.ca, kizito@rchc.ca, or info@rchc.ca, or simply just send us a message on any one of our social media platforms. The best one you can reach us at is the Instagram pages at RCH Center, or at afri.canadian on Instagram. And wherever you're seeing this program, you can send us a message and we'll be able to bring you on. Simply, either we can visit you in the community, or we can have you come live on air, which is mostly what we're looking at, obviously, for the next few days because of COVID. But either way, just we're letting you know that we're looking for more people to join us, to tell more stories. We're trying to visit all of the African communities over the next 2 months. We thank you so much for having joined us, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a good night.